So you might not know, but there's an invisible block there. But it does let you correct yourself as long as you don't fall down the center, like I just did. But regardless, you were good. And you can do that as well if you want to refill your Silver Tomahawk or your Flame Blast or whatever. If you're going to continue, it doesn't really matter. You'll just get full tanks anyways, but this is me trying to conserve some of my power in order so that I'm ready for the later boss item or bosses we're going to fight. Three, that's 3. Welcome to the boss. Have another Mega Man, even though I may be already at 9. That may be pointless. We're gonna use some Yamato Spear. I like the design of this dinosaur thing. It kind of reminds me of an easier version of the dragon from 2. Kind of got that, at least in my opinion, it kind of has that feel to me. I guess maybe because of its neck. I don't know. He's not terribly difficult, though he is a little more difficult than the actual dragon I talked about from 2. Because you can spam the shit out of Quick Man's power and just fucking destroy him. Wily stage 2. I do not like this stage. I know this is supposed to be a frozen freezer stage, but this does not look like, to me, in my eyeballs, this does not look like, to me, a freezing stage where the humidity is freezing. This looks more like a I just finished unloading after not coming for a year type stage. Coming through the vents. You can't clean up after it. There's just too much of it. The tissue failed you. There's just too much stuff. You're gonna have to get a paper towel or something. It's just too much. So if your guess after watching my playthrough of Mega Man 3, 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 is I'm going to attempt to cheese the shit out of this. You're correct. The game in fact gave me this very power so that I can cheese the fuck out of it, because this leads to that block, which allows me to slide, and we've just negated the entirety of that puzzle. Is that the first block puzzle? Yes. Is that the last block puzzle? I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure that's the only one in the whole game that we're gonna have to deal with. Pretty crazy, huh? I like it. I love it. Don't give me any more of it. Another E-Tank, thank you very much. Using more of our power. But believe it or not, I actually do get this life here without actually dying. I was actually super impressed with myself, because if you press the button just slightly too long, you will lose a life here to the spikes. But I did a perfect job right there, where I just barely missed the spikes, and at the same time, gained the health. that I so desperately need. And another free Mega Man life. Not that that matters. And we're to Dr. Wily again. Good old Dr. Wily. I think in Mega Man 9, or maybe it's Mega Man 10, it's one or the other. He tries to frame Dr. Light as being the actual villain, claiming that it's Dr. Light's robots that rebelled in that game. It's like, come the fuck on. Played enough Mega Man games. I'm fucking over it in 6. I know it's always Wily, but he's trying to frame Dr. Light in Mega Man 9. Like, I played Mega Man 3, I played Mega Man 4, I played Mega Man 5, I played Mega Man 6. You're telling me after 7 and 8 he suddenly turns over a new leaf? And even though he's not in jail after 8, oh, it's Dr. Light, he's actually the villain this time? Bullshit. Okay, so this robot thing is weak against wind power. However, this is probably the better way to do this, because even though it is slower, I am evading a lot of damage, because I'm able to not only push the robot back by shooting it with my little lemon blaster, but also I'm able to float and do pretty accurate damage to this thing, so it doesn't overwhelm me on my left side where I don't want it to be. So fuck you. The game does give you a lot of those options, which is kind of nice. Do you ever misremember stuff? Like, seriously misremember stuff? Like, why the hell... I seem to remember in one of these Mega Man games that Wily's castle was like a pagoda. You know, where it's got multiple levels on it. You have, you know, you're essentially going up the quote-unquote gauntlet of the pagoda. So you start out like at the bottom and you're slowly working your way to the top where the super awesome mega boss is. And after playing through Mega Man 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, I've not run into that yet. So I'm wondering if I imagine that, or if that's in, say, a later Mega Man game, like, say, 9 or 10. Just to remember it being in, like, Mega Man 5, which obviously is not correct. And this one kind of has a Japanese pagoda theme to it, but it doesn't actually look like the pagoda I remember. Doing an excellent job here, buddy. But I've saved probably some life and time by just leaving Rush Jet on? Probably. Did I do that? No. Because you don't think about those things at the time. You think about, well, I just need to fight that. You don't think logically. Welcome to the boss room. Congratulations. Do you know which boss is in which door? I certainly don't. Hopefully I don't run into, what's it called? Tomahawk Man first. No, instead I run into you, which is best. Best first boss to fight when you don't have health. Why? Because it's unlikely that I will take any damage. And, despite the fact that you do have a Knight's Shield, it does not protect you from me shooting you. Which is kind of weird. Because you'd imagine that, in this case, it would do work, but it doesn't. Hello! We are going to hopefully defeat you as well without dying. That is unfortunate. Use Flashman's power against me. Congrats, we did it. Though I'm not sure I'm any better off for health than I was when I entered that battle. Wind Man. This one should also be easy, depending on if he does crash damage or hits me with one of his things, like that. I used up too much of the power. Means that one of the attacks didn't actually hit him. But we did a good job anyways. I think we definitely ended up with more health than we started with, which is good. Who's left? A Fireman, Blizzard Man, Tomahawk Man, Yamato Man, Plant Man. Oh fuck, it's Tomahawk Man. Fuck you, Tomahawk Man. I'm gonna probably die. Or I could use an E-Tank, I guess. He's a fucking annoying bastard. Yep. I think one more hit, I'm dead. We'll use the E-Tank because I've got 9 of them. So any extra E-Tanks I get from here on out are just bonus E-Tanks. Though I did not ultimately need that because I ended up taking a damage. That's okay, I would have used one here anyways. Flame Man, how are you today? Are you bad against Air Blast, which is Windstorm? Does it go right through your shit? That's correct. Is it all that effective against you? Kind of, not really. Doesn't do as much damage as, say, other Robot Master versus Robot Master stuff, but good enough, I guess. Goes through your shield, so that's good. Hello, Snowman Man. There's a similar icy character, I believe, in 8. But it's not quite this guy, because obviously this guy looks kind of like a skier, but is a little like him. So you can see how he's pretty easy to deal with. Even without the firepower. Probably do this pretty easily with Buster. I say pretty easy. I don't mean he's like simple, you know, Toadman simple, but full practice you'll get around his attacks and probably do it without taking damage. We got Yamato Man, we got Plant Man. We got Plant Man first, I guess. He is bad against winter attack. Why? Because of course. Plants are bad against ice because they die in the winter. I'm thinking of that one video that they talk about Pokemon. You know, because you water a plant, plants suck up water. Fire burns plants. You know, sometimes if you punch a rock, it breaks. Or whatever. Not all of the weaknesses of Pokemon make sense. Alright, let's do some Yamato Man. I'm trying to use Beat on him, thinking that Beat will work like he did in 5, which he does not. I don't know what Beat is good for. Even though I collected all of the little things, he does not do what I thought he was going to do. Which is fine because I plan to die anyways. And now we're going to use this attack on him. I had thought about not using this because this also happens to be effective against Wily. But I figured worst case scenario, I can just die. And then I'll have full Tomahawk power. So, interesting fact about 6. We do not go directly into the Wily fight, but rather we go into the next stage that happens to have Wily fights 1, 2, and 3 in them. Whereas in previous games, 2 through 5, you'd fight Wily up, you'd do a boss rush, fight Wily in his first 2 phases, then do a quote-unquote capsule phase, where you're fighting a much more difficult version of Wily, but you no longer have to go through the boss gauntlet, if you will, to fight him. So, in addition to all the other things that seem to be a bit of a repeat, either in terms of difficulty, stage design, boss power, we're going to run into a not-so-distant repeat of a Wily boss. Why? Well, I don't know, because they decided that you had so much fun in Mega Man 5. Why don't we do that again? Why don't we fight the exact same boss we fought in Mega Man 5? But we're going to do it again. And luckily, there happens to be an Eddie there handing me a free E-Tank. It's fine because I already have E-Tanks, but suppose I almost died on that Met Creator. I suppose I needed to go into the boss here. Oh yeah, doesn't this look familiar? Like kind of like the one we fought previously, except with, I guess, an extra attack. So all modes of Wily in this game, which is kind of weird, are bad against Tomahawk. So as you can see, we did a great job of using Tomahawk Pants power, and we did have to use an E-Tank there, but I think we did okay. Now we're gonna fight phase 2, which is the same thing. Pretty weird, huh? Now we're gonna fight phase 3, which I guess this is where the difficulty happens, but it's kind of like Mega Man 2, except the patterns with the little beam blast are a little different. Also, I've used up most, if not all, of my power, so we're gonna have to switch off to Rush Jet to basically plow through the rest of this battle, I think. Because I do not have an option to, as far as I'm aware, unless something I'm unaware of, I don't really have an option to drain beat power and fill it up with Silver Tomahawk. Fill up my Silver Tomahawk. However, I do have this option, which is more or less free. Which is basically floating in the air and shooting Wily with my float. Fortunately, he does disappear a bit quicker than I had anticipated. But eventually we'll get timing down right, kill him. The random appearance does fucking annoy me. You know? I get it, they want to make so you appears randomly in a different area and you can't be ready for him because he's gonna randomly appear. But the crash damage just drives me up a wall in this battle. So unlike Mega Man 3, even though I'm using my Rapid Blast, he does have invincibility framed. Alright, Wily, you've been defeated. But unlike in 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, we're sending you to jail. Time for last, Mega Man arrests the notorious Dr. Wily and brought him to justice. Sentenced to prison for his crimes. Dr. Wily now rules over a prison cell. Long last, the world is at peace. Staff. So I'm not 100% sure for certain, but it seems like not some Robot Masters were created by people from Japan. Again, I could be wrong about that, but some of these names do not seem Japanese. That is, obviously, some of these bosses that I feel like were not created by the Japanese or a fan from Japan. Imagine Fireman, but updated and with a turban. That is Flame Man. I feel like he'd be much more difficult if his shield actually reflected your blast. And he's only damageable when he throws that fucking thing, the ball and chain. Daniel Vanelli, example that I was just talking about. Unless that's somebody's handle, which we know from previous Mega Man games, some of the designers do not like to put their names down. So they refer to themselves as like Momo-chan or like Iki's Papa, or whatever it was from 2. So this might be the longest set of credits in any Mega Man game up to this point anyways. It shows off the Robot Masters because this one's very much showing off what the Robot Masters do. Even though you've beaten the game already and know what they do, we're going to show them off anyways before we tell you who made them. Michael Leader. Pretty American name, I'm not gonna lie. Or European, I guess. Or someone's handle. Who knows? A little before Mega Man came out, like what? This Mega Man game came out like 93, 94. This was a little bit before your internet handles that are more common today. Here are some people that made it. All of these people have names. However, when we start getting down a little bit lower, you're going to see like the stuff I talked about. Planner, Turkey 613. Helper, Bambi. Mizu. Tompon, which used to be in every game. Yoko. Hyper Mickey. Hyper Benji. Rio. Duke. Yeah. And all Capcom and Capcom All Staff. Presented by Capcom. Great. Thank you for watching, everybody. To be continued. That's ominous, but I will see you next time.